Welcome, everyone. Welcome to today's Shamans Directory live event. While we give a minute or so for people to arrive, I invite everyone to take a minute and put your name and your location, or just your location, in the chat. Let us know where you're zooming in from for today's event. And Fotoula is here with us to say hello to everyone.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for coming for this event to share something different, Sacred Mysticism of Egypt, which is maybe we're maybe not so familiar with it from the shamanic point of view, but I do practice shamanism and this is different. So I hope you will enjoy this time together.
We've had very few talks on Egyptian mysticism, so this is really a special treat for us. All right, well, let's get started. So welcome everyone again to today's Shamans Directory live event. I am Tricia Bennett from the Northeast coast of the United States, and I am always grateful to have the opportunity to host our Shamans Directory live events. Fotoula and I were just saying before we started that the ancestors are cheering every time we get together, that we're sharing this wisdom with the world. So the topic for today's session is Sacred Mysticism of Egypt, the Ancient Egyptian Path of HEKA. And our honored guest is author and shamanic teacher Fotoula Adrimi. Before we begin, let me briefly introduce you to Shamans Directory. Shamans Directory is a nonprofit global online platform dedicated to making shamanic earth-based services accessible to anyone seeking guidance and support on their path of transformation. Our vision is to unite medicine men and women from around the world, including original people, First Nation healers, and modern-day lineage-trained shamanic practitioners, creating a safe and trusted place to share shamanic earth-based wisdom, medicine ways, healing, and teaching. Aside from our platform, we host twice monthly live events to gather around this virtual fire. Through these offerings, we hope to inspire you to explore and deepen your connection to shamanic earth-based wisdom and medicine, and to integrate these practices into your everyday life. We warmly invite you to visit our website at shamansdirectory.com. By signing up for our newsletter or following us on social media, you will stay informed about upcoming events and other offerings from the greater shamanic community. If you are a social media inclined person, you can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Shamans Directory. So please note that while we don't take questions aloud during our events, we encourage you to share your comments and post your questions in the chat, and we will do our best to get to all of them during our time together. So for those of you who do not know Fotoula yet, please let me take a moment to share a little bit about her. Fotoula Adrimi is the director of the ISET School of Holistic Health, an international school of earth-based shamanic training, and an honored member here at Shamans Directory. Originally a town planner and graduate of the Sorbonne, she rediscovered her passion for shamanism in her early 30s. After studying as a shamanic and advanced practitioner in core shamanism for 4 years, she completed Sandra Ingerman's 2-year teacher training. Over the past decade, she has retrieved old indigenous ceremonies and stories from her living elders and ancestral spirits in Greece, and received teachings, transmissions, and ceremonies from both Western and indigenous shamans, Tibetan lamas, and medicine people from Nepal, North America, and Mexico. She is a water pourer and carries the chanupa of the moon dance as taught by the late Isabel Varga, who was a Mexican medicine woman and grandmother of the moon dance. Since 2014, she has been studying Himalayan shamanism with Bola Banstola and now co-organizes his workshops in Scotland. Her first book, an Amazon UK bestseller, The Golden Book of Wisdom, Ancient Spirituality and Shamanism for Modern Times, is an epitome of spiritual learning. Her second book, Sacred Mysticism of Egypt, by O Books, became a #1 hot release on Amazon UK. Fotoula lives and works in Glasgow, Scotland. Her life and work are devoted to bridging the timeless wisdom of the ancient Egyptian temples with the spiritual awakening for our modern world. Through her teachings, she invites us to remember who we truly are, divine beings of light, love, and creative power, and to walk once again the path of HEKA, where every breath, thought, and act becomes an expression of the sacred. So welcome, Fotoula.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much to you, Trish, and for everybody who came here and for inviting me to share Sacred Mysticism of Egypt, because it's something that is so deep in my heart. Since I was a child, I was remembering the ancient mysticism of Egypt, and I would like to share this journey with you. I would like to take you there and help you feel that light and help you feel that deep homecoming that may be there for not just me, but for all of us, because Egypt, ancient Egypt, was built by the people of the time, but I feel also it was built for our returning, for to say to us that, look with your eyes and look with the eyes of your heart, and you may see a different picture. Everything is multi-layered. We are multidimensional beings, and in Egypt, this side, this multidimensional side, is there because the people connected to the stars, connected to Sirius, to Orion, to the Pleiades, to the cosmos, connected to the earth and the underworld. In all this journey of connection, they're connected to themselves. So this is also an invitation to come back to ourselves and feel that homecoming from our heart that says, finally, you are here. So this is what I would love to share with you in these 2 hours that we have together. So before I start sharing the information and history and my journey, I would like to take us into a little meditation that we can center ourselves and really arrive here, because we especially here in Scotland is already 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So we have, maybe some of you have lived already this a few hours this day, and you may have done a lot of things, and for some of you it might just be morning. But whatever time it is, let us center ourselves, and I'm going to take us into a beautiful meditation just to bring ourselves here. So in this beautiful space, wherever we are, we say to our helping spirits, our ancestors, our guides and beings of light who work with us, that we wish to create a sacred space together. All of us together. We are sitting on different lands, but in shamanism we say there is no space, there is no time. We are connecting beyond all that because we are working with energy, and therefore we can connect within any place, with any place at any time. We can imagine, for example, that we can extend our arms and we can hold hands together, and we can create a circle on this earth, a circle of light, a circle of power, a circle supported by the helping spirits. And we can create this circle because we are saying that to the spirits, we are now accessing the infinite that we are. That is this body is the body of the earth, but is the carrier of our essence, that is the all that is, source incarnated. This earth has given us the gift of physical life, and we see physical life all around us when we open our eyes. May the energy of our sharing today, may it flow to the land where we live. May it go to say to the nature spirits, hey, we are the human tribe coming together, awakening. Please support us in this. We dedicate this work to all life, including you. And we call our ancestors who support us in the journey to come close to us. For these ancestors have worked before us, maybe in our lineage, if we go far, far back, there could be a healer, there could even be a shaman, there could be somebody who could listen to spirit, who was open. And we are here now, we are alive, but we are saying to the ancestors, help us really do a good job while we are here, because we are preparing the space for the children of the future, for those who will come after us, and we can give them our work. May our work now sustain them and help all life. We are creating a space of beauty on this earth, saying that whatever we do, may we leave this earth a more beautiful place than we found it. We give thanks to our family, for we have incarnated through the ancestors, and we give thanks to those who will come after us. As part of this lineage, we invoke the Great Spirit, the Infinite, ourselves as the Infinite. In ancient Egypt, this place is no more the way it was thousands of years ago, the way I remember it. But we call the Temple of Light, what they called themselves, they described as the Temple of millions of years. That means it's eternal. We call the Temple of Light, and we imagine that we are all coming together in this sacred space. We leave at the door all that is not us, all the energies of the world that we may be carrying that are not us. Anything that doesn't belong to us, may we leave it at the door, and we walk inside this temple as the sacred being that we are. And whatever happens in this place, we dedicate to the highest good of all. For we are working in Mat, that means in divine justice, divine order can only come from a higher intention. The ancient Egyptians taught us. And so we say it is a place of Mat, it is a sacred space. And we welcome ourselves, each other, and all the spirits, and we open our space. Welcome, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you. So I'm going to share a few things about sacred mysticism of Egypt. I'll talk a little bit, and then I also would like to share the energy, and so you can experience it, because sometimes information can be a wonderful thing for our mind, but for our spirit, the spiritual nourishment comes through spiritual practice. That's what my helping spirit says. She's Isis, the goddess Isis from ancient Egypt, and she says, I don't have much time for information. So, but I think I need to tell you a few things about the mysteries. So, and a little bit about my journey. And when I was thinking about this talk, I went back when I was a child. And as a child, I had this questioning mind that sometimes got me into trouble, being raised in Orthodox Greece at the time. But my mind could see things, and it was something that one of my teachers at school that said that really stayed with me. We had gone on an excursion in somewhere. What I remember was that we had walked a lot in nature, and we found ourselves in an ancient Greek site. And this site had these big megalithic stones, massive megalithic stones. And our primary school teacher just looks at these stones, and these stones are so perfectly built. And he looks at them and he says, it is inconceivable that these people, these ancient people, brought all these massive stones weighing tons, so heavy, in this inaccessible location, without roads, without machines, and they put them together without any tools, just copper tools or just very primitive tools. He said, I can't think, how is this possible? And that stayed with me because we were all staring at this wall and thinking, how on earth is this possible? And these walls that we have in Greece are very ancient. Nobody knows really where they were built. And they are called the walls of the Cyclops. So these walls that they said the Cyclops built, these giants built these walls. That's what the ancient Greeks say. They don't say we built them. I mean, if you built such a wall, would you say, you know, it wasn't me? I mean, they're immense, they're magnificent. There are only remnants now left. But they said it was the Cyclops. And we have written evidence of what they said. So Pausanias, he said, is the work of the Cyclops. And they are full of mystery too. And then when you go to Egypt and you see again these megalithic structures, these old structures, like you see in the valley of Giza, the valley of the pyramids, the temple there is the same megalithic structure, but much better preserved. You go to a place called the Osirian Temple and you see these megalithic structures. You go to the pyramids and you see the stones perfectly aligned and you think, well, I'm listening again to my teacher in primary school that says it is inconceivable that these structures could be built by primitive people. So what is the alternative? So the alternative came to me from the spirit world and from memories that I had from past lives, where I saw a civilization which the ancient Egyptians called the Zep Tepi, the first time, the initial time. And they said that people had incredible inner power and they had an incredible technology and that they were like gods and goddesses on earth. They were so connected. But the power, when we say power, it's not power over somebody else. It's not look how powerful I am. Is the power of spirit. That power of spirit they describe, that is the love that is so deep, that is the love when they can only describe it with a metaphor, that a mother or a parent looks at this newborn baby for the first time and the heart opens, and because you see the spirit that this baby is so spirited, so radiant, and they say this baby is much more awakened than the adult. So they have these beautiful metaphors. This is goddess Hathor or Hathor, that she's saying, I am the goddess of divine love. And that is power for them. So power is not, I am all powerful, I can make magic, I can, do things like that. It is something that I am the awakened human. And that was what I remembered in Zep Tepi. And with that came incredible knowledge, this incredible technology. Because if we look at the pyramids now, we can't, I think sometimes, how is it possible that we can think these were built by slaves or by people with copper tools? It's just inconceivable, truly, to my mind. And as Trisha said, I have a very inquisitive mind, an academic mind. I studied in the Sorbonne, etc. And I had my grandfather, who was a professor of ancient Greek, and he said to me, don't believe in dogma, because he was a strong opposer of any dogma. He didn't want to go to church. He wouldn't allow the priest in the house. But because he said, we have to find our own truth. And also in another side of my family, there was a shamanic tradition that said, you have to listen to the spirits. What do they say to you? How do you connect? There is so much more than what you see with your eyes. So the shamanic tradition there was very different from academia, of course, but the two weave together. And what was the shamanic tradition in my family? I got really the remnants of that because Greece was becoming at the time very much very practical, very materialistic. And people said these were peasants' ways, and these illiterate people who practiced this magic type. They didn't have the word shamanism; they called it magic. This magic. So we should not listen to them. They are just peasants. But then I was looking at that and thinking, this is truly a treasure. And what I could see was that it was working. It was really working. So in my tradition, we share the teachings of how to read, how to do divination through the shoulder blade bone of the lamb, and you read the future there for the whole year, the more significant events. And people were sometimes saying, no, this cannot happen, it's impossible. But then you find out, actually, yeah, it did happen. And my parents will say, well, it's in the bone, it is written in the bone. And there were other things like that that just fueled me with this calling that I said, I really want to learn about this. This is very, very important. I knew it was very important, and I knew I had to try and safeguard and gather all these gems. And Egypt for me was a place where I used to journey as a child. I used to go to Egypt. And okay, can you hear me okay? Okay, great. So I used to journey there. And I used to, when I was a child, because Egypt was just across the water from me. I was sitting in Greece and our house faced the sea. And I knew across this water, across the Aegean, this is my home, this is Egypt. And this is what I remembered. So the sacred mysticism for me was kind of remembrance of my roots at soul level, maybe not as, of course, as a Greek. I wasn't born as in Egypt, but I have some roots there from my great grandfather. He lived in Alexandria for 20 years. And so he brought back lots of wisdom from the Bedouins that he shared with us. But my calling was much more ancient. So what is my memory of Zep Tepi? When is even this Zep Tepi? That we ask ourselves, when were the golden times? If it's beyond pharaonic Egypt, how far do we think, or do I think, they went? And the ancient Egyptians didn't say to us when it was. They didn't put a date. They said it was the time that people, human beings, were gods and goddesses. They were so connected, so powerful, that we could self-heal, that we could create harmony on this earth, as above, so below. And they created these plants with their temples, with the Nile being the Milky Way, and the West Bank being the place of death, and the East Bank the place of life. So there is so much symbolism in every part of this land, and it speaks to us still. If we sit and listen, we can take in these messages. What did they leave for us? What did they leave for the children of the future? And they left a path, and it's the path of the initiate. So in the Egypt that I remember, the temple was very important. It was the center of everything. So it was administration as well. It was It was the place where if you wanted to learn, anything, a science, if you wanted to learn a profession, you had to go there to learn it, because you had to first become connected. So it's first you connect with yourself, you connect with the light. Then whatever you are doing is serving life. So it's like, that if you are working with the stars and time and recording things, then you have to be a priest of Thoth or Jehuti. If you are working with bringing children into life, your work is with Hathor or Hathor, the great mother. And if you are working with Isis, you are working on yourself to awaken from within yourself. So it's the path of awakening that Isis brings through an energy that they called HEKA. And the first Egyptologists, back in the 18th, 19th century, they described HEKA as magic. They say this is magic, like witchcraft. And now it is admitted or accepted that HEKA is more than that and refers to the power of creation. And Isis is the bestower of HEKA. She says, they say that she has the 10,000 names, 10,000 emanations, and that she bestows HEKA to her initiates, to those who want to walk a path of divine connection. And HEKA, how do people use HEKA? How do they work with HEKA? So this power of creation is abundant in the cosmos. It's something that exists all around us, etheric energy. It's something we cannot see, but is there. So they are using HEKA for, their everyday life, in building things, in using their tools that are much more sophisticated than we think. And they are working with HEKA for their awakening process, bringing in these energies into themselves. And then they're doing something that is really shamanic, and that is the sacred theater, theodrama. So in that, we call it a theater. It's like playing an act, but it's not for them. It's channeling these beings of light, these gods and goddesses, by dressing up. So the priestess and the priestesses and the priests, they dress up. They put all the regalia, all the symbols, all the headdress that means something. Everything means something. They have staffs of power that means something. For a lot of the time, they hold the staff of the lotus flower that means awakening and unconditional love. So they hold this is power for them. Love, divine love is power. It's not separate. It's not something different. So they are holding these staffs, wearing the regalia, the headdress, and they become the being that they are channeling. And it's written down what they used to say in the texts, in papyri and the pyramid texts and the Book of the Dead. So it's written out what words that they were invoking, what they were saying. But maybe we don't have everything, but we have quite a bit of what was there. And as they were speaking these words, whatever they were saying was happening to Ra or Isis or, these different deities. It's actually also happening to the priests and the priestesses. And they are awakening the qualities that are already inside of them, because these beings of light are also archetypes. So you have like the Divine Mother, Hathor, that's the imperfection, no duality, no good or bad, just is imperfection. And the being here, our human being, maybe resonates with this quality, but it's all clouded up with all this conditioning, with all the agreements that we have made, with all the thoughts that say how a good mother should be, etc., etc. So what they are doing is like, I'm now channeling this being. It's not about thoughts, how it should be. It's about the energy. It's about emanating the energy of this being so that I can now become this. I can become this that my soul is calling me to, because it is within me, but It's not imperfection like in this enlightened god or goddess. The same thing with Isis, Nephthys, and all these other gods and goddesses. So the priests are really becoming them. And we had an experience. I have been working with the pyramid texts and hosting these ceremonies, and people, channel and speak the words and become this. We don't have the headdresses and the staffs, but we do our best. We do our best, and people have said, when I say the eye of Ra is coming into my heart, I feel this energy coming into my heart or coming into my body, or the name of Ra coming into, because I'm Isis now, and Ra is saying, I give you access to this energy. I just feel it, and it's real. It's very, very real. So the temples are centers for this work. And the priests and priestesses, they are sometimes, apart from having all these other roles, there are also some people say, well, for the most important thing for me is the awakening out of my, out of my human personality, because they have a way of describing the human being that is really lovely, really important. So the way they say is, you have the human personality that is linked to this physical life. And this human personality acts and reacts and thinks that is in charge, because I make decisions from this place. So we all make decisions from our personality, what we know, from the egoic mind, if you like. So, but this personality also, there's another part of us apart from the personality. That is called the Ka. The Ka is the energy that we are. So we have the human personality, the Kaibit, and we also have the Ka. Now the Ka appears like the double, that like we are, our body, but made of energy, the energy body. And this Ka is very much like an observer and knows everything about us. It acts beyond space and time. It could be anywhere. Like we could be connecting to Egypt saying, oh, I would love to go to Egypt, but I can't. I have other things, or I don't have the resources. What do I do? Well, with our Ka, with our energy body, with this multidimensional self, there are no limits of space and time. We can be anywhere. And time is also very different for this Ka, because what we think sometimes it's 2 hours for the Ka can be 1 minute. They say it's very different. Time is measured very differently from the energy point of view. So what else? Yeah, this Ka is of vital importance to the ancient Egyptians, because they say that a strong connection with our Ka, if we have a strong connection with our Ka, then we are stronger here on earth. Then whatever, etheric forces are coming our way, maybe difficulties in life, accidents, bad luck, evil eye, things like that. Whatever there is, if we have a strong Ka, then we have a great defense. And that is a practical thing. But also, if we have a strong Ka, we have a great connection. We can develop a way of seeing the world outside our mind, and that the perception that we have opens up. It's not just about psychic seeing. It's not just about being able to see spirits. It's about understanding that awakening that is happening from within us. That is what they're looking for. And then they have this ceremony about the weighing of the heart, which is how they have is part of their initiation. So in my book, Sacred Mysticism of Egypt, I describe what my spirit guide said about the process of initiation into the mysteries. but I'll share some of it with you because it's very beautiful. It always opens my heart to really hear this story too. Even though if I'm saying it, I'm taking it in at the same time. So my spirit guide said that he remembered that at the time he was born in this ancient Egypt in that time, and he was very gifted. He had a lot of psychic gifts. He was connected, he was very serious as a child, and he really wanted to be a priest. He could see the light of the temple, he could feel it. He said, those times you could feel the energy, you know, miles away. You could really feel it. You could connect with it. It was visible. He could see all the colors, he could see all the psychic colors, everything. And he could see the enlightened beings. He could see the gods and goddesses of ancient Egypt, the Neteru. Gods and goddesses is a Western term. It doesn't really mean what we mean in the West. It means more of enlightened ones. These enlightened ones he could see. And so from an early child, he wants to become a priest, but his family say, we need you because we need people in the fields and stuff, but we will get there. We will make sure that you go and follow your dream, but you have to wait until, you know, more children come or we get more help. So he waits for some years, and at some point, eventually, he goes to the temple. So he had a two-year almost like adjustment period. And in these 2 years, he receives an initiation and teaching. Every day they come together outside in the temple under the tree, and they sit there and they have this beautiful ritual, the same every day, going into the waters of the sacred lake, because that is the primordial water that carries the memory of life, how life started in water. And they get in touch with that, and they have all this incense and stuff, and they also have to work because it's not just all the ritual. They have to contribute to the temple, and some clean, bake bread and all of that. And there are a few of them in the class, and everybody says to him, you know, you are meant to be here. And he believes it. He's so happy. Of course, I can see all that. Nobody else can see it in the same way. I'm so gifted. But it wasn't really so much ego, just feeling really happy about it, excited about it. And then what happens is the initiation process comes. Whenever people wanted, said, I'm ready now, after 2 years, I'm ready. I want to be an initiate of the mysteries. So the process was that on that day, you would go into the temple and you would be blindfolded, and they will take you around the temple, you know, from room to room, run around. So you got disorientated. You didn't know where you were. Just like get out of your mind. Just run here, there. Where am I now? I know this temple. I have been walking here for 2 years, but I can't say where I am, which room it is. And then you go into a chamber, and all the teachers and the priesthood, all of them, they are reenacting a ceremony that is called the weighing of the heart. So they are dressed with the regalia, with the headdresses and everything of the Neteru, of the enlightened ones. And some of them are presiding there. So you have Thoth, Jehuti, the Egyptian who basically says, you know, he writes down what happens. And they invite the infinite spirit of this person who wants to be an initiate to say, your infinite spirit is eternal and is actually watching you now. This spirit is present. Your eternal spirit is here. This is a great moment in your life. You have been roaming the universe until you arrive in this moment, and your spirit is present. And then you have Onpu or Anubis, who is the gatekeeper, if you like, and he is the opener of the ways, and he is there and holds the scales of math, justice. Are you ready? Is this the right time for you? Or are you open? Is your heart open? Why do you want to come? So the initiate comes to the scales, and he has a papyrus written his name and a drawing of the heart, a hieroglyph, the Ib. So he's putting his name, this papyrus, onto one of the scales. And then you have the priestess of Maat wearing this headdress. And she comes and she takes the feather of her headdress, an ostrich feather, and she has to put it on the other scale. And if the scales are balanced, they say the feather always knows, trust the feather, and they trust the feather. And if the feather and the heart papyrus balance, then he's accepted. So he now feels, everybody says, I'm good and I'm ready. So the priestess goes there and just drops the feather to the floor. And he's just shocked about what happened. And then she says to him, you have to do all these spiritual practices. You have to really practice. You have to go into your heart. You have to work with the light. And then he has to leave the room. And when he leaves the room, there are other priests outside and said, what did he say? What happened? And then he says, I have to do all these spiritual practices. And he's a bit shocked. And they say, that's okay, we can help you. It's not a big problem. Let's follow Matt's guidance. So he does all these spiritual practices and he thinks, well, okay, I'll do it. Nobody gets it the first time, you know. So he does all that. It's just a test. It's just a test. And then he goes back the second time and the feather goes down to the floor again and he says, you have to go on a pilgrimage to the desert. And he thinks, oh no, how can I do that? I need a donkey. I need to find a caravan. It's so hard. I don't have money. How can I do that? And it's all difficult. And he goes out of the room again, and the priests ask him what to do. What did Matt say? And says, oh, I have to go to this pilgrimage in the desert, in that temple in the desert. And they say, well, it's not as difficult. You know, we'll help you. We'll find a way. And he does that. And he goes back, and he goes back again to Matt, to the halls of Matt again and again. And I can't remember how many times he got there, about 8 or 9 times. I can't remember. It's in the book if you want that information. But he remembers the final time when he was going for the first time. He already in his mind, he had become high priest in his mind. The first time that he tried, he thought, oh, I'll just be a priest for a few years. I'll be a high priest soon. Because that's the mind going into the future, racing ahead. And now he wakes up on this day and he looks outside and he really sees the beauty of this place. And he says, oh, this place is unique on the earth. I'm so lucky to be in this temple. There is the clear crystal water. I can hear the birds. I can feel the energy. I can feel the love. I really belong here. And he says, no matter what happens, maybe they say no, I will stay here. I will just do the dishes. I will just be the gardener because I love this place so much. It's where I feel at home. Sorry, I feel his emotion every time I say this. It's just so profound for me to share he came with all that emotion when he gave me the story. And so what he really feels, no matter what happens, this is my place. And I'll do anything just to be here. I don't want to be a priest necessarily. I just want to be here. It was a unique time, that time on the earth, where there was so much light and he could feel it. And he goes now again to the, no expectations now. He's been so many times. He goes back to the initiation, the halls of Maat. And this time, the priestess of Maat takes the feather and just looks straight into his eyes. And what he sees, he doesn't see her eyes, he sees the cosmos. The whole of the universe, the cosmos, the planets, the stars. And she puts the feather on the scales without looking. She doesn't look where to put it. She just puts it without looking. And everybody's cheering all of a sudden. They are all cheering and saying, well done, finally, you know, congratulations. But all he feels at this moment, he feels that mud is divine order. I have my place in this divine order. I am exactly where I'm meant to be, and this is exactly right. And this is all in divine order. Before, there was no divine order because the ego was making it all up as he was going along. It was all in the mind. I want this, I should get it. I'm so talented. This time is like the perfect thing. And that was how he lived his life after that. He told me that he did become a high priest at the end. And that was, but he came back from that. That was, he said that it was a life of service, a life of service. That's how he became a high priest, that he served all this time, life, all life. And that was how he taught me about these mysteries. So I have had a sense of this divine order and the synchronicities and things that happen when I go to Egypt, and I have been very, very fortunate that people have come to my pilgrimages in Egypt, and we've gone to the sacred sites. And sometimes when we go to the sites, I feel the sites are really kind of waking up to meet us. And things happen there. Sometimes we think that I have been here for so long, it must have been hours, and almost like time is just completely changed. And we meet people there who come and say, we know you're doing this you're practitioners. We know that. We can see that in you. We want to take you to a place where you can do your ritual if you wish. And they find us a room in the temple, which is close to the public, so we can go and do our work. And that happens so much. Sometimes the doors open. And I feel that the lineage from Zep Tepi, from those ancient times, from those times all the way back, is very much alive. And for me, it was a calling to go back to it. And the calling is not just personal. So I'm sharing this work because maybe we have felt that too. Maybe there is something for us from these ancient times that says to us, if the human beings were gods and goddesses on earth, not at some distant universe, not at some other stars, but here, you were all that here. If we were all that on this earth, we can do it again. It's just a matter of remembering. We can really do it again because we have already been it. And what they have showed me is that time is a circle, is the Ouroboros that bites a snake, is a circle. So the times of Zep Tepi, or the Satya times that we have in the Sanskrit tradition, these golden times, you know, they have gone for now, but we are going back into those times again because it's not a linear path, but a cycle. So that cycle will bring us back again to those times. And our job now is to really find that calling, what is in our heart, and live it and embody our spirit. That was it, what they called Ra Horakti. So that is the awakened being. That is awakening, they said, the brightness, the radiance of the human being is like the sun rising in the eastern horizon, that there is no darkness anymore, there is the new day. And this being says that I am one with everything. In the pyramid text, it's proclaimed, it says that I am one with the Sirius star. The Sirius star is my sister. The morning star is my offspring. It's like I'm one with everything. I'm one with all the cosmos. I am this rising sun, Ra Horakti, the rising awakened being that is like this sun. And the way that this is described is through the myth between Horus, Osiris, Isis, and Set that describe our times now as well. So there is there's so much that I can share about that. But I'm just watching the time, and I know you've been listening to me for a while. But just very briefly, I will say that the golden times are identified with Osiris, saying that this was when the human being, as Osiris, we are all Osiris at the time, is the person that is so much in their heart. They are like children, like young children, very intuitive, very close to source, and very innocent. So it's just like this innocence. But because we are so innocent, this other side of us, which is the jealousy, the manipulation, the corruption, that's called Set. This is, if you like, our times. This innocence, this manipulation kills the heart. Says that, this manipulation is like this Set power, this corruption power says, I want to be in charge, not the heart. The conditioning of the world wants to be in charge, not the innocence of the heart. The innocence of the heart cannot be trusted anymore. So it has to go away. So in our times, they are called the times of Set. And when we are coming out of these times, we are awakening through our spirit. We have to say, okay, now from Set, we come into the era of Horus. And Horus has a difficult job because he is born in a world of Set, in a world that is corrupted, in a world that is where manipulation is rife, where nothing is clear, where we don't have any power. Our own power has been usurped. So Horus is born into this world, and he has to be in battle, almost to battle to find his power, to battle Set. But actually a lot of the time he's battling with himself because he wants to awaken, but part of him is pulling him back. And we all know that struggle. I want to meditate, but there's another part of me that says, well, no, just watch a movie. so this is what happens, is an inner battle as well as an outer battle. But the almost like the coming back from the world of Set through the age of Horus is one where we have to find our spiritual connection, because Horus means the spirit in the body. So it's a very important time to realize that I am a spirit in this body. So this is almost like the next era. And after that era, they are saying the Osiris times, the golden times, are coming back. So this is a little bit of the theory, and I would like, as you have been listening to all of this for a while, just to do a little bit of spiritual practice to experience this HEKA, this energy, and where it comes from. The ancient Egyptians said that this is the power of the cosmos, the power that creates the world. And that means both the physical world and the spiritual realms. All the worlds, all the dimensions are created from this power. And this power is the energy that comes out of the void, the unmanifested state. Through a word of power, through sound, gives birth to this light, this energy that then everything is created through that. They say, in their tradition, they say that all is one soul, is the one soul that rises from the abyss, from the void. And this one soul that spreads itself over all these manifested beings. So we're all sharing the one essence. It's very beautiful when you go into it. And so from this power that creates this world, this HEKA, is also something that we can channel. And Isis, as the keeper of HEKA, is related to the Sirius star, to the Sirius, actually, the three stars, the star of Sirius. And she is saying to us that that the Sirius star, the brightest star in the night sky, is a big portal of energy, a big portal of HEKA, and that we can invoke that and bring it into ourselves. So she's the doorkeeper, if you like. She's the one that opens the door so we can access HEKA. But HEKA is not just in the Sirius star, it's everywhere. But the Sirius star is almost like a huge energy portal for that. So what we are going to do is we are going to invoke HEKA. I'm going to take us into this meditation and see what we feel. And we'll invoke Isis as well. Iset is her ancient Egyptian name. So Iset. Isis is an amplified form of the Greek word that the Greeks changed the endings when they conquered Egypt. And that's how we have Isis or Isis. So let us make ourselves comfortable. And we can even imagine that we are breathing in. With our breath, we are breathing in the universal light into our body and allowing it to flow, to wake up inside our heart center, our Ib, our heart center, that is so important, is where our spirit resides in the body. This is the infinite Ba. It was called the Ba, the great spirit that we are. With our breath, we maybe have an intention. May I experience the power of HEKA in a way that is most comfortable for me at this time. And HEKA is about divine order. So if we wish, we could say, if any part of me in my life could be aligned with my soul's purpose and highest good, maybe this could be an intention for us. And in this beautiful space, as we are breathing in the light of the cosmos, we realize we are this light, so with our out breath, we share it with all. And the more we connect with the light of the cosmos, the more it grows, the more it can radiate further, because it's inexhaustible. And we now, all of us together, we can imagine that we are going on this pilgrimage and that we can find ourselves in the desert, because the desert is a great place. There is no human interference. It's just emptiness, empty space. Of course, there are always presence. There is always a presence, maybe a bird flying above in the clouds, but it's also a place of quietness and peace. So much peace. And as we find ourselves in the desert, in this space of peace, we start to walk. And we walk towards this pyramid. It is actually 3 pyramids. And they are covered with white stone. And on the top, they have a little golden pyramidion, a little golden cup. The sun rays touch the whole of the pyramid, the golden cup and the white stone, and they appear as if they are glowing, as if they are stars. So bright it is. And we find ourselves walking towards the pyramids. And we go to the bigger one, the Great Pyramid, because it was called the place of ascension, the place where we could ascend into the being, the spirit, the truth, the light, the infinite self. And as we walk towards this pyramid, as it was at the times of Zep Tepi, we find that this priestess comes to greet us. She's holding the blue lotus flower that means awakening, the flower that opens during the day. And we smell this very delicate perfume. And she welcomes us. And when she looks at us, she sees this awakened being that is still within us. This is who we are, beyond this physical dream that we call life. And she looks onto our third eye. And our third eye is a beautiful gateway. And the all-seeing eye in the form of the eye of Horus appears on our third eye. And then she asks us to follow her. And we start to walk and we go around the pyramid. And then we climb up the steps bit by bit. And we come to the threshold. And at the threshold, we meet this form of the goddess, the double goddess. On one side is Hathor, and she is the mother of unconditional life, on unconditional love. On the other side is Sekhmet, she is the destroyer. And it is really the one goddess with two forms. And she holds both of them. Hathor and Sekhmet, they hold the white lotus flower. And the white lotus means unconditional love. Everyone who comes here, there is no judgment, acceptance, so we can accept ourselves. There is beautiful incense. And again, the incense is both an offering and a way to cleanse ourselves from any heavy energy. But it's also an offering. I offer incense. I offer beauty. I offer light. I offer all this beautiful smoke that comes from the earth, opening the senses, opening the centers, the etheric centers and my chakras, or my centers in my body. And as we walk through the smoke and we cross the threshold, it's again an invitation to leave behind whatever we are now ready to release. And we take the steps inside the pyramid. And this time, I'm guided to follow the corridor that takes us in what we call the Queen's Chamber. It's a very special place. And it's just a room, one room. And this room has a shaft aligned with the Sirius star. We go inside what we now call the Queen's Chamber, which was a place of healing and connection. And it's the Sirius star that emanates to the earth, HEKA, ISET of the Sirius star. We call you, we welcome you, we open our heart to you. You are the great mother. All beings, including us, we are your children. Your wings are wings of light, reminding us that we too have wings, that we too are on this journey, and that we are on this journey towards our divine self. May the power of HEKA, may the light of HEKA flow into our body for our highest good. And if we wish to receive this, we can say to ISET, we can also ask ourselves, because everything is voluntary. It is up to us. We can accept the gift. It is always an invitation. And if we wish to accept the HEKA, the power of HEKA, to flow into us, all we have to do is just stay quiet for a few moments. And I'm going to chant this chant that ISET gave me, that is the chant of the wings of light, that invites us to feel our own wings, that we are, as I said, multidimensional beings, and awakening into our light. So I'm going to chant for a few times as we connect. Chane iset yet yetan, Chane iset het 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 yetan. And after chanting for a while, we just continue to receive HEKA, this beautiful energy. And ISET manifests in this space as this woman. She is coming with her form of Hathor, wearing the cow horns, means I offer everything to all beings. I am the nurturer of life. And she comes to each one of us, looking into our third eye, looking into our heart. Her eyes are transmitting HEKA into our eyes. I will chant again for just 21 times as we receive HEKA from ISET into our eyes, if we so wish. We don't have to, it's up to us. Always an invitation. Chane iset yet yetan, Chane iset yet yetan, Chane iset et 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 yetan. In this sacred space, ISET offers us Ankh, eternal life. So we can remember that we are the traveler, the being with no beginning and no end. And for our earthly life, she offers us also the knot of ISET. This is protection, for we live on the earth. And she says, I offer you the power of the Neteru, the protection of all these beings of light, for you to walk your own path. May all discord be taken away. May you be protected, and may you flow in the river of life. It is a very beautiful space inside this pyramid, but it is time for us to go. It is time for us to come back. So we will retrace our steps. We give thanks to ISET. We give thanks to the spirits of the Great Pyramid, to the ancient ancestors of these sacred sites. Some of them have stayed back to look after this very important place. And then we come out of this room back into the corridor. And we keep walking all the way through until we find ourselves that we are now at the entrance or the exit. It is the same point, the same place. And as we walk outside this pyramid, we see in front of us that we are on the earth, the desert, and far away the green Nile, and all these beautiful life forms, all these amazing beings who are on this journey on this earth. And we radiate the light of our infinite spirit, being Ra Horakti, the power, the light of the sun rising on the eastern horizon, rising in the east, the bringer of the new day. Just being the light, the awakened human in the body, connected to all, one with all. And then, after a while, we come down the steps, walking down, and then we come off the pyramid and we walk back. We walk back, and we imagine seeing this veil of time that we can lift and come back to this lifetime as we are now, living Zep Tepi and bringing ourselves back, giving thanks for all we have received, but bringing it back to our own time, to our own life, to this present moment, to this present body. As we come back, we take our awareness into our skeleton, our bones, and we bring the power and light of our spiritual work into our bones, bringing ourselves home, for this body is home for now. the home of our spirit. Welcome back. Welcome home. So very gently, we take a few deep breaths, moving our body and bringing ourselves back. Thank you for coming back. Thank you so much. So after such a practice, it may feel quite a big download of energy for some of you, because the energy meets us where we are. For some people it can be a strong experience. For some people they may need a gentler experience. My own experience is usually that it's quite strong, but it's different for everyone. We are all unique. And so as we come back, it would be lovely to hear any experiences you had, and also maybe it's time to answer a few questions if there are any questions. Just so before though I forget, is that after such an experience you may feel tired, you may feel sleepy, because an integration process can take place. And just know that this is just part of whatever healing or whatever thing we needed at the time. And the best way is to drink water, have quiet time, avoid distractions as much as possible. But if not possible, just say to yourself, to the spirits, may I receive, may I do my integration work in the dream time when I go to sleep at night, because right now I have to engage with the world. So we can do that. We can definitely do that. So, are there any questions there that...
So I have two questions. One is, would you be willing to share the words of the chant? Would you be willing to put them in the chat?
Yes, I am very happy to do that, and I also have a recording of the chant
Ah,
in the YouTube, so you can hear the melody as well.
perfect. Okay, if you put the words in the chat, I will then put them under the recording of this with the link to your YouTube video. So everyone can have the words as well as the link to the YouTube to listen to the chant. It was really beautiful.
Okay. So it's Chane, ISET, head, an. And I'll put the link, we'll offer you the link so you can hear the melody. Yeah, yeah.
Beautiful. Another question was about the lion in Egyptian cosmology. If you could share a little bit about that.
So, yes, the lion. Oh, there's so much to share. The Sphinx for me is a lion. So some people are saying, well, what animal? We're not sure. Is it Anubis or is it a lion? For me, what I feel, this is my view, other people have different views, is that it is the lion. It is the lion who watches over all that is happening there, is a gatekeeper and a protector, and this also says through me, through the connection with me, you are able, through permission, because we require permission to go to that place, to go to the planes of existence, the vibrational fields, the advanced earth, if you like. They're talking about this earth here, and also another earth, another vibration, another world around the earth that is of very high consciousness. So I feel the lion is keeping that, the gatekeeper of that, of that way. I think also lion, another side of the lion is of course the destroyer, Sekhmet, and I love her story. Some people say, why Sekhmet? She's the one who killed everybody. So the story goes that the world of Set, when it started, it was so corrupted. It was such a difficult world because people were not honoring the sacred, not just in terms of the gods and goddesses, but the sacredness of life. So they were about to destroy the earth. They were so destructive. At some point, the human beings, what we are living through here, the ancient Egyptians said, we lived before. And this destroyer, Sekhmet, came because the earth was going to be destroyed, the whole of life was going to be destroyed by the human beings, so something had to happen. And she came and basically cleaned the slate, said, we have to start again. It's just not possible. This world cannot be saved. These human beings are creating such destruction. We have to start again. And that myth, is much more beautiful. I'm just giving you a few, just the gist of it, a few nuggets. But that myth is very relevant for our times, because Sekhmet did not finish the job. She didn't destroy everybody. She said, I can see corruption everywhere, even in people that you think, okay, I'm not very corrupted, but there's still something there. So she was just like was doing a very thorough job, and then Ra said, enough, don't destroy anymore. So the little seed of corruption was left, so that kept growing and growing. So we are back in this time of corruption, but Sekhmet is no longer the destroyer, because what happened, she transformed herself. So from becoming the destroyer, the lion who basically drank the blood and everything, she became the healer. So she's also a very healing power and a very gentle power. So what she says is that for our times now, she's no longer destroying things like before. It's not about creating a clean slate. It's about healing ourselves, healing the earth, healing the world, healing ourselves so we can elevate our consciousness, healing whatever we are carrying, this big trauma and karma of that destruction. So I feel that the lion of those times has transformed into the healer. The text said that she became this very, very, loving cat, instead of being this angry lion. And then she lives with the people, and her influence is a very beneficial one, is the one that is looking for us to heal ourselves. So this is the myth about the lion. Now the lion is also, you will see the lion at the feet of the Sphinx. You will see that portal between past and future, and where we are in that moment of now. And you can, if you go there and you stand in front of the Sphinx, you cannot go right at the bottom now, but you can go around it. That power can come to you. It is all about being present as all of you, not just your personality, not just our personality, being all of us there. And I feel that is a gatekeeper of that when we start to awaken, we start to have access to much more knowledge about who we are, not like in this moment, but who we have been, what we can become. So this is, I feel, also part of this work of the lion.
Thank you so much. There are a couple more questions here. Actually, they keep coming in. There's a comment that's nice. I really felt the chamber and the energy coming in from Sirius as a portal. and being connected to Hathor brings tears to my eyes. Thank you for this beautiful alliance with Ma'at. So that's
Thank you very much.
And then, do you feel that Inanna and Isis are one?
Well, I really, I haven't worked with Inanna, so I don't quite can answer this question. But what I would say is that Isis was described by the ancient Greeks as the goddess of 10,000 names. So she could maybe have, and she said that to me. She said, some of my emanations have different names. Like I feel is also an aspect of Kali. And that is, of course, in India. So she says I'm universal. So if she comes to you and she says I am Inanna for you, maybe that's true. I don't know personally, but I know she's called that the 10,000 named goddess. So she's universal. She's saying I'm everywhere. What name you can give me in different traditions.
The next question, would you speak of the temple of Anaraya?
Right.
I'm
Let
not
me
sure
just
what that is.
trying to find that.
I'll put it in the chat so you can see it at the bottom.
Anaraya. So I haven't visited that temple. I would love to know more about that temple. Anuraya. So you have Ra there. Could you tell me more?
We would ask the person to put it in the chat if they're still here.
I think we need to ask somebody who is really good in Sanskrit, like Bola, to come and speak about the Hindu tradition. I unfortunately don't know everything. I know what I remember. I haven't remembered a past life in India. Maybe there was one, maybe there wasn't, but it hasn't come through. So I can't answer that question. But if this is something that is calling you, I would definitely encourage you to find that connection for yourself and to really visit that temple. That's how a lot of the work was built when I was a child. I would find myself in these ancient Egyptian temples, and sometimes I didn't know what was happening there, but I was definitely in a place of light and memory that sustained me during my childhood, which was a time, that there wasn't so much spirituality in my family, and everything was very defined in the Greek Orthodox Church, and women were not allowed to be priests or even to think about that. So it was a calling that was coming to me from the past. Or if that's in your heart, I would definitely say that's a really good question to ask yourself, because I can't answer everything. But thank you so much for asking.
Yeah, it looks like it's, someone said the temple is not a physical one, but one for deep healing to remember who we are. So maybe it's a metaphysical temple that, yeah.
So
Yeah.
just to say, in if it's a parallel, in ancient Egypt, we have this concept of the temple of millions of years. So this temple, it means that the ceremonies are being done all the time, that it never ends. And every temple in Egypt is like characterized like that's just the download of this temple of millions of years. Because the way they build the temple is like we have a double. I said we have a Ka, a multidimensional self. Everything they construct, they first construct with the etheric energy, they download it, they bring it in, and then they say this is the Ka, the etheric self of the temple. So the physical temple might be there, and we might call it the temple of millions of years, that will not last millions of years, even though it's so well built. But the etheric temple, this temple of light, is there forever and ever. So I don't know if this is a parallel with the Sanskrit.
Beautiful. And there's a question to which I believe the answer is yes, but I'd love for you to answer it. Do you offer pilgrimages to Egypt?
So thank you so much for this question. I do, but this is how it happens. So I'm not in charge of that. Really, I'm not. I love Egypt so much. If I could, I would go there tomorrow. But the way I do the pilgrimages, every time is the same. I have a dream. Isis comes to me in the dream and she says, I would like you to go to Egypt to take a pilgrimage there. There will be so many people. So she gives me the number. You will go to these sites. You will start from here. You will finish there. And you go and do it. And each site has a different ceremony. So I have then to sit with her and give me the ceremony, what will happen. And everything is so organized and it's very intense. But these pilgrimages do not happen every year. They don't happen every 2 years sometimes. So my last pilgrimage was 2019, and we loved it so much. We wanted to go back so much, but no dream came for 2020, 2021. And even now, I'm asking, is there going to be an invite? I feel in a couple of years, I feel maybe there will be that invite again. But for the moment, I can't say when I will go back to Egypt, because it's always through this invitation. And when we go there, everything works clockwise. It's just like there's no problems, that the temple opens, that we have these wonderful experiences. So everything's so organized from the other side. So it has to be the perfect time. And I don't know that time yet. But what I do offer, and I would like to share, is that in 2006, Isis asked me to be her teacher. She came in and said, would you do this? I was very frightened at first and resisting, but I won't go into that story. It's a long story to share. Eventually I said yes, and I did that. And she has given me a huge amount of work, a huge a spiritual path of the ceremonies and the teachings of the path of the initiate. So I do share that. And I also share webinars on Introduction to Ancient Egypt Mysteries, which are once a month at the moment. And you can also go to the previous one if you missed it, because they are recorded. And also the path of the initiate, which is more involved because it requires spiritual practice, it requires a little bit more effort. I also will be teaching that in 2026. I teach it every year. And it's a series of workshops. You can just do the one, or you can keep working with me for however long.
And I just want to say that people are asking how they can find out about that. And I will put all of Fotoula's links. They're already in the chat here if you can see the chat. And if you can't, they will be all underneath the replay of this video on our YouTube channel within about 24 hours at Shamans Directory on YouTube. So you can get all those links.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And it's the ISET School of Holistic Health.com if you would like to know more. And thank you for putting the links there. And also, if you get the book, the reason I wrote the book, Isis Again, came, and it was like a transmission of light. And there are so many teachings and ceremonies and practices and insights there. It's not just about history. It's really about almost awakening that deep knowledge within us. That's how she gave me the book. So if that helps, if you say, I don't want to do a course, but I want to find out more, the book is out now, and it's a great resource too. Thank you so much.
Lots of very nice comments in the chat. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your experiences too. And these experiences are quite important. Sometimes we tend to dismiss them, but I do feel that the energy was there with all of us, and it was very present, and that's what I feel with Isis and the Neteru. Is that they're not some far away place. They're not like up in the sky somewhere. When we call them, they are really coming very close to us, and they're right here with us. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. Are there any other questions?
I just see a lot of gratitude.
Yeah, bless everybody. Bless us all. Thank you so much.
My meditation experience, I saw a cobalt blue eye with green and teal radiating out. Thank you for your knowledge and this experience.
Thank you so
Much
much.
appreciation for this healing and wisdom teaching. So wonderful to receive your teachings. Thank you for your deep knowledge. How do we find out about that in the future? Through her links.
Yeah.
I see something about Bastet.
Yeah, I see that too. Lian asking, where does Bastet role fit into things? If Sekhmet has become this rage transformed into love, well, Bastet is the other form. You know, she becomes, you know, from the lion, she becomes this cat, this beautiful cat who accompanies us. So Bastet and Sekhmet are, but Bastet is the transformation of Sekhmet. So she is the healing presence of the goddess. And what was the healing of the eyes intuitive today? Yes. Or why the eyes healing if it was planned? So sometimes what happens in this work, what I have seen is that when I channel Isis, and also it happened to other people, my colleague also does this, is that Isis comes through and she asks people to look into the eyes, says, look into my eyes. And the transmission happens through the eyes, that it goes deep and touches our soul, because the eyes are like the windows through which we look at the world, through which our soul looks at the world. And it's just almost like finding that soul essence there. This is an important gateway for our body. So it happened today. It's not always like that. I had planned, I had written out what I was going to do, but as always, what happens is that I start the meditation and then I see the way is like, no, we are going to the Queen's Chamber. I'm not questioning it anymore. I just follow it. After many years, I stopped questioning and just follow what opens up. And this is what opened up for us today.
Lots of questions pouring in now, which happens often at the end.
Right. How can we navigate these difficult and destructive times? Yeah, we are in the era of Set. We are very much in the era of Set, and we can see this destruction, and sometimes we can feel, what am I doing here, or feel powerless or hopelessness. People sometimes share that, and how can we navigate that? What the ancient Egyptian told us is we navigate these times through connection with our spirit, through the spiritual work, through healing ourselves and healing our personality with so much compassion, through opening the lotus flower within, this blue lotus, the awakened being. So it is, we start with ourselves. Sometimes I see all these wars in the world, this difficult time, and my heart craves for peace. And ISET gave me a message the other time, and she said, the reason there is all this destruction in the world and all these wars, that you want to have peace, but you see all the wars, is because of all the wars that are happening inside of you. Everything that is outside is a mirror for the inside. And we start with ourselves, with love, compassion, the gift of Hathor, and we do our spiritual practice. And sometimes people do so much practice and they say, I wish I could see a change. I don't think my work changes anything. There's still all the corruption there. But we sometimes focus too much on that there is corruption, there is destruction. There is also so much hope. There are also so many good things happening in communities by not the politicians, by the everyday people. The human heart is really beating also the song of love. And that is something to focus on too. So I would say, of course, we're not naive. Everything there is the way it is. But we do our ceremonies, we do our practices, we have compassion for everybody, including all those who are creating the distraction, and they are part of SET because they are manifesting what is in the collective consciousness. And this is a story that comes from one of my teachers, and she had gone to South Africa. And at the time there was a lot of corruption. There were a lot of things happening, and she was in this village, in this place. It was a farm, and somebody who was attacked, and there were two people creating all these attacks, and they were very violent, and they called the shaman to come and deal with this. And the shaman called everybody. Of course, when the shaman calls, people have to go. So everybody in that farm came. And the shaman said, I want to thank these people who were these destructive forces, because they are playing out what is already here. So they have a very hard time. They're doing this to themselves. They're doing all this destruction, but they are playing out what we all in this farm carry. So they said, we're doing the clearing, the healing for everybody, but I want to thank these people that have taken the burden to play out the destructive force. And I thought, what a way to actually see something like that. What an incredible heart this shaman had, and even to think how, to come into that realization, what a level of consciousness this person had. And then he did the healing. And what my teacher shared was that there was a huge amount of destruction in the area. But this farm, despite everything that was going on, was unaffected from there on. That the shaman's work worked. So it was really good. So that's what I would like to share. But spiritual work, our connection, not to give hope, and focus also on the good things.
Yeah, I love what you shared. It's also about us just knowing that we are that mirror of what's going on outside of us, and making sure that we know what's in the mirror on any given day, right? Keeping track of our own reflection. Yeah.
And then there is Hathor, also a sound healer. Of course, sound has a huge, it's just like in this system where there is the sound of the voice, and that's very powerful, our own sound, as well as the sound of instruments, the sistrum, the other instruments, is very important in this ancient tradition. And especially if you go to the temple of Hathor in Dendera, you will feel the vibrations. Sometimes people just feel and hear sounds, even if they're not there physically. If we tune in, some people have that gift, they can feel it. But we can feel the energy like we felt it today. So I think sacred sound, whether it's our chanting or if we use something else, a drum or flute, whatever we use, whatever sacred instrument we use has a spirit and works with us. And one of the ways that people have found themselves and gifts is by chanting the mantras in sacred sites, their center of the throat center really opens up. And this is a center that emanates light through our voice. So a very important center to work with. So thank you for that question. And I saw a mythical deer when exited the pyramid. Thank you for your presence and offering. Thank you for sharing. Thank you, Ozzy. Can you speak about the energy of dolphins connected to ancient Egypt? So for me, dolphins goes beyond Egypt, goes to Atlantis, back to Atlantis. And I know some people say, oh, I don't believe in Atlantis. That's a big, ooh, that's too much for me. But it just, the energy is amazing of the dolphins, but I feel that it goes beyond Egypt. So I would say again, if you find yourself drawn to these beings, please connect with the energy, and there can be an amazing spirit animal or guide. But I don't think there's much to share about an Egyptian connection there with the dolphins from the classical Egypt, from the pharaonic Egypt. If we go back, we will feel that deep connection between the human soul and the dolphin beings. And from my Greek tradition, we have myths and stories about the dolphins saving people, about the dolphins responding to sound and music. And my mother had an encounter with a dolphin. She swam in the sea really in the Greek sea. And then she saw this black thing, this black animal coming around, and it came and swam around her, and then it just nudged her, and she just patted the dolphin, but the dog was swimming with her, so the dog was getting a bit agitated. More territorial. So I said I had to leave the dolphin and say to the dolphin, please go away because the dog is getting agitated. And the dolphin just went. So she says it was just extraordinary, absolutely extraordinary. What a gift, what a gift. I think they are really working very hard, these beautiful animals holding the vibration of divine love on this planet. That's my feeling. And thank you, dearest Fotoula. Thank you, Mogadi. So much wisdom and love that you transmit. Thank you. Thank you, too. Thank you so much, too. It's been such an honor to share, and such a wonderful time. Thank you so much for your hearts, for your light, for all that you do. And I just wanted to share that so many times Isis comes through and says to everybody, you really belong here. This time has called you. You are very important here because you are bringing the light to the earth in your own way. It's not about following one way, it's finding our own way. That's where the gift lies. That's what these times are asking from us. We are all unique, and we weave together a beautiful tapestry of energy, light, and color. So thank you so much. Thank you. So I would like, if there are no more questions, maybe to close the space. Please.
Yes, I don't know if you can see all the love that's floating up the
Yeah.
screen. I don't know how to do that, but it's really fun to see. So yes, please close the space.
So, enlightened ones, all our guides and teachers of the light, we give thanks for our life. We give thanks for being here on the earth during these changing times. They are not easy times. This is a time of the grinding of the diamond. But there are times that the soul has answered the call to serve. And we have come to this place for our own healing, for the healing of the ancestors, and preparing the world for those who will come after us. For this we give gratitude, and for everything we received, we give gratitude. Let us remember that we are the light incarnated, the living light. We give thanks to the earth for this beautiful world, And we give thanks to Ra, the light, the infinite spirit that lives within us. And a big thank you to the circle, a big thank you to ourselves. Thank you so much, and lots of love to everybody. Thank you. We close the sacred space. We ask the spirits that before they go to completely protect and seal each and every one of us, completely protect and seal the home we are in, the place we are in, because now we release you and we release ourselves and we walk back into everyday life. So we say good night to the spirits. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Fotoula, for such a beautiful and heartfelt journey into the mysteries, the temples, and the timeless wisdom of mystical Egypt. Your words remind us that the sacred is not something distant or lost. It is alive within us, waiting to be remembered, reignited, and sourced right now. I know that you have already had a long day, and it's an honor that you came to spend part of your evening with us. So I really want to thank you for this beautiful offering. And for everyone who's viewing, thank you all again for spending a part of your day with us. We wish you a beautiful rest of your weekend and look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Trisha, for inviting me. Thank you to all the work Shamans Directory does and all the amazing work you guys do to bring these ancient teachings together for all of us. Thank you so much, and thank you, everybody. Thank you.